Alright guys, welcome back. Tried to start this generator yesterday and it would run on ether but would not pull and run on gas. So my thought is it's a Venturi style carburetor, so it relies on vacuum. So more than likely the gasket there was needs to be replaced, so I picked up some moto seal and we'll see if we can't get that sealed up proper now. My other thought was that the last time I had this running, the gas would actually pool in the bottom of the carburetor, so I wonder if there's not some old gas, some varnish or something that has it blocked up somewhere. So I'm gonna blow it all back apart and try to get into the nooks and crannies and get it a little more cleaned out and put that moto seal on it, and basically we'll give it one more shot and see if we can't get it to do what we need it to do. Other thing was that I took out and blew out that pin, but I counted the number of times I turned it out. I didn't turn it in tight and count going the other way, so that Venturi pin might not be well calibrated on that either. So we'll just monkey with it and see what we can't figure out. I'm unhooking the throttle linkage again. It's real tight right there. So this whole system relies on vacuum, right? So I wonder if, these gaskets are shot and not holding enough vacuum to pull the fuel through, or if the fuel line is clogged, or who knows. So we're just gonna try to go through and troubleshoot out some of these things and see what we can't get figured out. I mean, this generator is, how many years old, who knows? It's a Briggs and Stratton motor on it. Just removing the fuel line here. And It's still got gas in it. Turn that stopcock off so that stop the fuel flow. Okay. Oh. It's draining something out of there. That smells like gasoline. That smells like gasoline. So I had gasoline in the carburetor. But let's go back through with a straw in our. Oh, that's more fuel. Okay. So really, that should. The gasoline should kind of chew up anything that was in there and clogging it up, but we will go back around with some carb clean and try and get all the little nooks and crannies blown out here. Sorry guys, I'm just sort of fiddle fucking around with this. I shouldn't swear on YouTube. So what I'm trying to do is get all the little nooks and crannies blown out, because I don't want to pop this off and destroy any kind of gasket or diaphragm or anything that might be in there. I can see a little pinhole in the venturi tube, and it looks like it's machined to be there, so it's probably either a vacuum or a fuel flow, and I'm just trying to get it blown out a little bit so that it will free flow. I'm actually gonna get a different can of carb clean here, because I think that might be part of my issue, is that that's empty. All right, let's go back around and hit all these. I'm trying to kind of watch and see where this comes out of, because that's my fuel inlet, so I'm trying to see if there's fuel coming out from anywhere. I'm half tempted. Try to get this fuel fitting turned out here and see if it's not plugged up there. Word to the wise, don't hold gasoline over your eyes, because when it drips in you, that kind of doesn't feel too good. Must be another jet from that. So we had that needle and seed that came out of here, and you can kind of see, I don't know, I can kind of see that there's a jet right there. So I'm going to try to give that a little. Okay, so I saw mist fly out of there, so that means, to me, that means that's clear. Okay, and I can feel the fluid coming out of here, and I can see it running out, so that means to me that that tube is clear. I just don't know about the fuel coming in. And I'd read online that sometimes an improper venting of your cap can cause it to run like garbage, and there's big old goober or something there. So let's just try to give that a little. I'm trying to not push it back into the cap, but maybe we can just give her a little, yeah. That may have been part of it. Oh yeah. So now I blew some carb clean through there, and that was all, I don't know if you guys can see that, gummed up with stuff, so that could have been a big part of it, that the gas tank wasn't getting vented properly. You know, that'll definitely affect fuel flow on these Venturi style carburetors. So let's start throwing this thing back together. This needle is clean. That went in here. I'm just sort of guessing because I didn't count how many turns out it came. This one has the brass ring on it. That all looks clean. And that's going back in there. Okay, so that's all really as cleaned out as I can get it without blowing it further apart. That's a throttle. Clean these up a little bit. They still got some smooch on it from the last gasket. Probably put the fuel line back in it now. Okay. Right now I'm just looking at the mating surface for that. That one is nice and clean. It still has all your machine marks on it. That one not so clean. There's that gasket sitting on there. I might not even be able to get that off. So I might just reuse that. Well, we'll at least see if we can reuse it. Because it looks like it's in good shape. It's sealed right up there. So I'm just finishing cleaning up these mating surfaces. What I'm trying to figure out is what is going to be the best way to try to put this all back together. Because I got to reattach the throttle linkage, which is on the back side. I can reattach the fuel line with it installed. That's not a problem. but that air horn shares a mounting screw with the top horn of the carburetor. So how exactly will be the easiest way to put that back together? I guess we will get this on here first. That goes back on there like that. So let's get some of this stuff. Gasket maker. I'm gonna try to clean my hands up a little bit here so that I'm not contaminating this gasket that I'm trying to make. Real good idea to do that over top of the bottom of the. Oh well, it's fine. Okay. Put that there like that. This here like this. Supposed to let those tack up for about a minute. Good enough. Oh, come on. You piece of shit. have some sort of weird neck to them. So I guess I'll just make the assumption that it goes on this. Okay. So that's tightened back up there. Shit end of the stick is that I have to undo that to put the horn back on, the intake horn. But I mean, at least it'll have a chance to set up for a minute before I break that screw back loose to hook that back up. Okay. Try to get that carburetor bolt back to the head, and then that way it's not all moving around on me as I am attaching the rest of it. Two different legs, perfect. Probably goes back behind there. Making the assumption because it's harder to get to. A little bit of deductive reasoning there. Force them down tight right away because you want to be able to have a little bit of wiggle room. Check was that there's a stopcock underneath the gas tank, and I wanted to see where the so the more open now that we've poured a gallon of gas in the bottom of this. Yeah, right on the bottom, perfect. Girlfriend will love me for that. Okay. Hook that back up there. Just undo that, not disrupt that gasket that's trying to set up. That goes back in there. That slides back in there. Okay. This puppy goes back through the bottom. Bolts back up to the bottom of the carburetor. I think this is where I said yesterday, don't make a mess where you gotta lay. We don't gotta lay there today. Okay. So let's run through it here real quick. We got our gas hook back up. We sprayed out that. We took that needle out. We sprayed out that. We took that needle out. We sprayed out that. We put a new gasket in there. We reused that gasket, but that's bolted tight. So really the things that we are going to be fighting against now are the adjustments on those needles. But because I was thinking yesterday, it would run on ether, but just when there's enough ether. So there was probably an air leak here. It wasn't pulling enough vacuum to pull the fuel in, and wasn't getting the right mixture to run, right? The other thing is the adjustments on those needles, because I'm sure that they monitor either the vacuum or the fuel flow, probably the fuel flow. So we will we'll let that set up for a minute and we'll go try to start it. All right, take it easy.